At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. And welcome to what I'm calling the second episode of the Power Hour, right? And I'm going to try to start doing the Power Hour more often. And I'm just going to try to come on and condense a conversation within an hour in hopes of, maybe coming back from lunch, maybe, you're in the fourth quarter of your workday, man. So this is just in hopes of entertaining you for a little bit, man, and us just discussing a topic or two that will enhance our lives, right? So today I want to talk about surviving this battlefield called life, right? Surviving this battlefield called life. I see my day one in the building. Brother Kid, what's going on, brother? Now, I spent a little time on the battlefields of this planet, right? I'm a U.S. Army veteran, did 6 years in the military, participated in Operation Desert Fox, participated in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And I'll be honest, man, as crazy as this sounds, the battlefield itself is not too much different than life happens, right? It's just like life on 10. It's like life exaggerated, right? I had a partner of mine, man, that I played high school ball with, and he ended up going to college and play some D1 ball, man. And I can remember when I asked him, I said, man, what is it like, man, playing college ball? You're in front of a bigger crowd, you got a better band, it's just more going on, man. I said, what is it like? And he said, the only way I can describe it, brother, is that it's faster. He said, it's just faster, man. And at the time, I didn't really know how to interpret that, man. I'm like, it's faster. Like, okay, like I know everybody can run. He said, it's just faster, man. I didn't understand what he was talking about until I joined the military, until I found myself on a battlefield. And when things were just moving at a rapid pace, when things seemed exaggerated, it was just like normal life. It was just faster. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that super chat, brother Macroni. What's up, brother Soul? Not sure if y'all can hear my at ease, man. I still got to troubleshoot what's going on with my technology. But it was just faster, right? Now I can tell you this. On the battlefield, man, there are a lot of neat toys for a man to look up. You have a lot of high speed trucks. You got things that fly. You got things that shoot forward. You got things that float. You got things that make bridges. You got things that can shoot multiple rounds at one time. But brother, one of the most fabulous pieces of equipment out there, man, and one piece of equipment on the battlefield that taught me so much about life was the M1A1 Abrams, brother. The tank. If you're familiar with the military, the M1. The M1 is the Lamborghini of tanks in the battlefield, right? And I learned so much about life by just observing this thing, right? Now, not only is it just a beautiful piece of art, right? Not only is it, it's fast, it's strong, it's powerful. One thing that stood out about the M1 that related to life for me, man, was, one thing that makes it so advanced, rather, is its ability to hit its target, right? Now it has this technology, and I can't remember what they actually called it, but it's the craziest thing, man. It's the craziest thing to see, when vehicles are going through the desert or going through whatever terrain they're in, and you're jumping hills and you're going through. If you notice the A1, the thing that's almost freaky about it, the thing that's almost scary to watch is as this thing is going through different terrains and jumping hills and going through water and all this stuff, that target, that barrel on that machine, and some of you brothers know what I'm talking about, that barrel stays locked on its target. In other words, when it's locked in, it doesn't matter what's going on with this. The tank can be doing 360s. That barrel is going to stay locked on its target. It can jump off a cliff. And when it's driving, all you see is this. And I'm telling you, when you understand what's taking place, brother, it's the scariest thing you can see, man. Knowing that once this thing is locked on you, it's ball game. It's ball game, man. And it's one of the very, if not only, pieces of land equipment that can do this, right? But that leads me to the number one thing, when it comes to surviving this battlefield called life. And that first thing, brothers, is staying locked on your target. This is by far the most important thing you can learn, you can extract from the battlefield, right? See, a lot of people think that success or happiness or finding joy in life, whatever category you want to put that in, a lot of people think that it's just a straight shot. You come out of high school, you got your game plan ready, and you just shoot for the stars and you go. You know what I'm saying? Let's say it's not right after high school. Let's say you go through a few ups and downs in your 20s, and around 30, you find your purpose in life. You say, I know I want to go now. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to give the world, right? And you take off on life. Never, ever will it be a straight path to that goal. Brother, I'm telling you, and I'm preaching to the choir, because a lot of you brothers on here that watch, we all talk, we all vibrate the same. A lot of us has gone through the same things, and that the path to your goal is not going to be straight, man. Like it is not going to be a solid path. Just like that M1, man, you going to hit some ditches, man. You're going to have to go over some broken bridges. You're going to have to get buried in some sand. You're going to have to jump some hills. You might have to make a lot of maneuvers. But that barrel, man, that mind, it has to be locked on target at all times. You can never take it off, man. And I'm telling you, that's the challenge. Once you understand that you can never take it off, because just staying locked in will get you to that target. Once you understand that, it's a ball game. It's good. It's understanding that, though, man. It's understanding that. And I'm gonna tell you, I guarantee that at some point in life, on your way to your goals, on the way to achieving, your target, I guarantee, man, at some point in time, your money's gonna look funny. In other words, you might have this good job, man. You've got your degree, you've done all this stuff, and you've joined all these associations, and you got a good job. You're working toward that goal, right? Next thing you know, man, you've caught a layoff, right? Next thing you know, it's been some downsizing. Next thing you know, you've lost your position. You back at square one. You have, regardless of what's taking place in your world, you have to stay locked on that target. You have to stay locked on that target. It's going to be some times where you have to, you might have to relocate for a job. You might have purchased your home right here in Dallas, Texas. You said you got your friends and your neighbors, and some pop up where it's like, dang, now I got to ship. I got to move to Florida. I got to move to California. Or you know what? You can combine the two and say, you know what? I gotta move out of my house now and move into an apartment. It doesn't matter what you do, brothers. I'm telling you, it's imperative. It's imperative that you stay locked on your target, regardless of what's going on, man. Regardless of what's going on, stay locked on your target. Just like yesterday, just to piggyback off the conversation yesterday, for y'all that didn't join the live, we were talking about the difference between mind and ego. So when I say stay locked on your target, really what I'm saying is what I'm saying is not to really focus on an end goal. Like that's what I'm saying. But ultimately, what I'm saying is to stay focused, to stay locked in on your target, you must stay plugged in to your higher conscious. You must stay plugged in. That's how you stay on your target. That's how you stay on your target. And and I don't want to make a whole conversation about that, but to go a little deeper on what I mean is, you have to understand that your mind, that yourself, you have to understand that that's your prayer. You have to understand that that's your prayer. Think about this. If kind of going back off what we said yesterday, if we were made in the image of the all, and the all, if we're made in the image of the all, that must mean that we have the exact same properties, which means we're a constant energy. Like I said yesterday, man, like this skin and all these things, this is not the creation of the all. What the all created us in was mind. So when I say that self and mind is your prayer, I'm saying that just like the creator, it's a constant energy. It's a constant energy. That's why you have to stay plugged in. But because just being here looking around, man, you'll be all over the place. You stay plugged in, man, you'll stay in that prayer. It'll guide you. It'll give you your steps will be ordered by that, right? So why is it so important to stay on target? Like, why is that why is that so imperative, man? To stay plugged in, to stay on target. Because if you don't, brother, you will start to create a whole nother level of hypnotic rhythm. And all hypnotic rhythm is, and I'm referring to Napoleon's work and Outwitting the Devil. All hypnotic rhythm is prayer. All hypnotic rhythm is, as I said yesterday, as above, so below. If it takes place in the spiritual plane, it has to be a representative of it in the physical plane, on the third plane. You know what I'm saying? And all hypnotic rhythm is your prayer in this third dimension. Your habits, you know what I'm saying? Your actions on a regular basis. Like you're creating a whole prayer. So if you're not plugged in, the dangers of not being locked on target is you're creating a whole nother hypnotic rhythm. You're countering your prayer. You're unplugging. You know what I'm saying? And what that looks like is, you might be just functioning like normal, and all of a sudden you start drifting, right? You start floating away from the plan from up above, right? From your prayer, from your goal, from your target. You start floating away from it. You'll notice yourself. You may start drinking a little bit more than normal. Maybe you a brother that on the weekends, you might have had you a few crowns, but you'll start saying, you know what, I'm picking that bottle up every night. You might start smoking a little bit more. You might start clubbing a little more. But what you're going to notice your actions are going to start doing something different. They have to. You unplug from your set of instructions. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important to stay locked on target. A lot of brothers will stay, will lose a job, will lose a few dollars in the bank account and separate out of fear. And next thing you know, man, like the married brother might start have a wandering eye. You might have never stepped your foot in casino. Now you're seeking out gambling habits. You're becoming a drifter. So brothers, number one, when it comes to surviving this battlefield called life, hands down. Like hands down. We must stay locked on our targets, brothers. We must stay locked on our targets. Now going to this second one. My job in the military, I was a 63 Tango. For y'all to speak that lingo. 63 Tango, which was a Bradley mechanic, a track vehicle mechanic. I worked on, of course, the Bradleys. I worked on the 113s, the medical, all those, man. I worked on Humvees. And every once in a while, I had the opportunity to work on the vehicle that I was talking about a second ago, the M1, right? That was a whole different MOS. I think it was 63 Echo. I can't remember. But every once in a while, man, I would get to work on it. And I remember, man, I was over in the sandbox, early in my career. And we used to have to replace the track on those things, man. Like the track would make the thing move. We used to have to replace that. And I can remember one time, me and the team I was on, we up there changing under the track, which is just up under the fender, right? And the fender is just, thick pieces of metal, right? I can remember us changing track one time, brother, and it was a crack. It was a crack in this armor, right? And while we're sitting there working, man, there's some kind of substance just like dripping on our arms and stuff, right? We didn't think nothing of it, but we started looking at it, man, and we were like, it's like oil is coming out of pure metal. It's almost like having oil come out of a wall. That's what it was like. And we were like, what is this stuff coming out of this metal, right? And, we got I guess somebody got informed, and next thing you know, man, one of the top, one of the first sergeants, the sergeant major, I can't remember, came over there, man, and just told us to stop. She said, y'all shut it down. Come over here and talk to us, man. And they gave us this whole spiel about what it was. See, before that, I thought that a tank's armor was just full of just a steel wall, I guess, right? But what I come to find out that day, after they had to give us a briefing on what was taking place, is that between these two thick metals, big sheets of metal, there's some depleted uranium inside of it. Now, I don't know if the depleted, I know when depleted uranium hits a certain temperature, it does some certain things, chemical change and liquid, all this stuff. I don't know if that stuff that was hitting my arm was depleted uranium, but I know it was in there. And back then, back when I was out there, it wasn't no YouTube. You couldn't get on there and Google it. You couldn't get online and type it in and get the whole spiel. All they did was say, you know what? Wash your hands, take 2 of these, and get back to work. You know what I'm saying? And as I started to do a little bit more research, I understood that, what the purpose of this stuff was, man. I understood that they wanted this piece of equipment, man, to be, dang near super strength. The regular armor alone, man, was hefty, but they wanted to make this, they wanted to go above and beyond. They put depleted uranium. If you do any research on depleted uranium, you know how serious of a metal it is, or how serious of a weapon this can be, right? So translating that from surviving on the battlefield to surviving in this battlefield we call life. Number 2, brothers, number 2, sisters, is you have to have thick skin. I'm gonna tell you, you have to have thick skin. But the kid said, so your target is your plan that you have prayed for, right? Most definitely. Your target is your prayer, brother. Your target is your prayer. Number 2, you have to have thick skin. Now, in this life, man, words are very powerful. Words have the ability to both create and destroy. I believe the Bible itself says, life and death are in the power of the tongue, right? So we understand that words are crucial. We have to have thick skin in this world, right? And for those that don't believe, the power of words, we can easily go back to Dr. Masaru, Dr. Masaru Emoto, whatever his name was, right? The brother that did the water experiment. Brother Emoto said, I have the belief that words, the power of words alone, has the ability to manipulate the molecular structure of water. And he did his test, and y'all are all familiar with it. He put the rice water on one side of the cabinet, put another one on the other side, and every day he spoke goodness into one. Every day he spoke badness or evil or whatever you call it into the other. And after about 20 or 30 days, the one that he was speaking life into, man, almost looked like it was untouched, where the other one had mold and it was turning black and all this other stuff. So we know that there are power in words, man. Like it's there's no argument there, right? And the thing is, if a person isn't locked on their target, or if a person doesn't have knowledge of self, I'm telling you, man, those the words or the words from others, man, they have such an ability, man, to again destroy your life if you have no idea what's going on. They have no choice. I mean, they can destroy your life, brothers. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm gonna tell you this. And I don't care how much money you have in the bank. I don't care where you live. I don't care what you look like. I don't care all this stuff. If you're a person that's tied to purpose, if you're a person that's locked on your target, I'm gonna tell you, man, there will always be people that will be throwing darts at you. Always. So expect it, man. And those darts are in the form of words. Those darts are in the form of rumors. Those darts are in the form of leaving sticky notes in the bathroom at your job so people can, you know what I'm saying? Those darts are in the form of anything, because nobody shoots darts at low achievers. Nobody shoots darts at nobody that's not doing nothing. And I'm telling you, man, there are so many people that aren't tied to purpose. There are so many people that aren't plugged in. There are so many people that aren't on their target. Is that when they see someone that is, all they want to do is bring them back. Come with me. Like don't win in life. Like don't be the highest version of yourself. Come back here and be with me. In other words, if I throw these darts, maybe they can distract you. Maybe they can force you to unplug to focus on what I'm saying. Then you'll be just like me. You have to understand. You have to understand. People will always throw darts when you're tied to your target. When you're tied to your purpose, man. Nobody throws darts, when you're playing the game. Nobody looks at the target and throws darts to the other side of the room to hit the wall. Nah, that's too easy. That's too easy. Nobody aims on the dartboard. Nobody aims for the outer rings, right? Nobody aims for the outer rings. Everybody aims for the bullseye, right? The bullseye, you have to understand, man, is the most concentrated area. It's the most concentrated area, man. They're like that. That's where the high vibers reside, man. So they want to swing for the fence. They coming for you, man. So just understand one, that if they coming for you, you must be doing something right. And two, refuse to unplug. Refuse to unplug. I don't care if you're catching darts in your neck. I don't care if you're catching darts in your inbox, in your DM, in your mailbox. Refuse to disconnect, man. Refuse to disconnect. I'm telling you this, bro. At my last job, this was about 6 years ago, because I just started. It was like my first week, at least I know my first month on the job. I was down in Houston training, right? And we went and go see a customer. I think it was a customer that we had already, and we were trying to get more business. I was brand new. I'm still trying to figure out what we had going on. And the guy we were talking to, it was like a older garage. It wasn't like no fancy corporate building. It was ground level. And we walked in, man, and there was a white guy in there. He was at least about 85, maybe a little bit older. And I'm with my colleagues, two brothers that had been, in the game for a long time. They're training me, actually, two white guys, right? And as soon as I walked in, this old guy just, boom, locked in on me, like, no expression on his face. And I'm like, dang, like, what's that about, Introduce myself. And we chop, we're all talking. So we get to talking business. And we're talking about his numbers, what we project him to do, what we're able to offer him. My colleagues, because I'm brand new, my colleagues are going through this whole spiel, right? And the whole time they're talking, he's looking at me. I'm not saying nothing. I'm green. I'm still trying to learn what's going on. He's locked on to me, man. And I'm just, I'm giving him the eye. I'm looking at my guys. I'm in the whole thing. And they got done giving their spiel, right? And they passed the baton to him, in hopes of getting some kind of response to what we've been saying. And this brother just takes the conversation a completely different direction. I remember this joker, he looked at my colleagues, he looked back at me, and he said one of the craziest things. He said, man, do y'all remember when they drugged that colored boy? That's what he said. He said, do y'all remember when they drugged that colored boy back in Jasper, Texas? He said, I wonder what they were thinking about. And I was like, wow. I looked at my brothers and they were just like, they weren't even blinking. They were like, did he just say that? So I just looked at my brothers, man. I said, you know what? I said, hey, I'm going to step outside when y'all get done with this right here. You know what? Holler at your boy. I'm going to be outside, right? Man, I wasn't out that door 15 seconds. And they were right behind me. They were like, no, we not tolerating this thing, man. They're like, we don't play that game. Like, if that's how he want to roll, we don't even go there. And I ain't gonna lie, the company I was with, they didn't tolerate that. But this is the thing, man. You have to understand that when you're focused on your goal, because I was at a point now, man. I was at the point then where I was focused, like where I am right now. This was my target. I know going through that path, I knew it was just an avenue, but this was my target. I had to have thick skin. because I could have easily took that whole conversation a different way. I could have easily gotten my feelings, stood up, put a 1-2 on them, or either start talking crazy and lost my position and lost the momentum to my goal. So I'm telling you, brothers, you have to have thick skin. People are gonna talk about you, man. People are gonna say a certain thing about you. I'm telling you, this brother probably looked at me. He probably looked at me and said, you know what? I've been doing this for 90 years. And I've never seen a man of that shade walk in my office. How dare he? And he probably felt some kind of way about it. He gave me his response. I said, you know what? Let that bounce off. Brothers, meet me in the parking lot. And I made that move out. I could have easily changed the complete projection of my life right then. Brothers, I'm telling you, you have to have thick skin in this game of life. You have to have thick skin in this game of life. Why is it important? Why is it so important that a man have thick skin, right? Think about this. Let's go back to the tank. Why is it important for the tank to have, sheets of metal? Why is it important for the tank to have depleted uranium, right? Because it's to protect what's on the inside of that shield, right? You know what I'm saying? That tank has this motor, has this personnel, has this weaponry. You know what I'm saying? You have to protect that if it's trying to accomplish the mission. It's no different than man. You have to have thick skin, brothers. Why is it important for us to have thick skin? Because for us, we must protect our emotional state. We must protect our emotional state. Brother, that's a whole video. That's a whole other video. You have no idea. If you don't learn anything else today, don't let anything alter your emotional state. Why is that so important? Why is that so important? Because your emotional state is your creative power. Think about it. The universal language, the all, God, whatever, doesn't speak English. It speaks vibration. So your emotion, your vibration is your communicative power. That's what you're sending back to mind. That's what you're communicating. That's what your prayer is built off of. Emotional energy. You've seen the recipe. You know what I'm saying? You have to protect that emotional energy. That's everything. Any person that can get in your mind and affect the way you feel, say one thing to you. Oh, snap. You get a bad comment on an Instagram post. Oh, now I feel kind of funny. You make a post and nobody gets on. Nobody sends you a like. You make you a YouTube video and one person watched it. And you feel some kind of way like, oh, snap. Somebody calls you out of your name. Anything that will alter your emotional state will control your life. Anybody that has that power has you by the strings, brother. They have you by the strings and you don't even know it. Brother, I'm telling you, man, never. I don't care what they do, man. I don't care what anyone does. You have to have thick skin. You can't let anybody to that heart. You can't let anybody change your state. Your state is everything. When I say your state, I'm talking about your mindset. It's everything. It's everything, man. I'm telling you, anybody that controls your emotional power controls your life. Controls your life. Anybody that knows they can just push one button. Let me push this, but let me say this about him. I know it's gonna throw him off. I know he or she is gonna start creating something else, gonna alter their prayer. Brother, you must have thick skin. You must have thick skin. Now the third item, man, when it comes to surviving this battlefield called life, right? We're still talking about the M1A1. It's a bad boy. It's a bad machine, right? But the M1, man, the M1 has 4 team members, right? The M1 has the driver, of course, self-explanatory, has the loader, has the gunner. Again, those two are self-explanatory. And then it has the commander, right? Now, the beautiful thing about this, man, the beautiful thing about watching this machine operate, hearing over the comms what's taking place on the inside, hearing them loading weapons, hearing them telling directions. The beautiful thing about this, and the thing that I can extract from this that taught me so much about life, was teamwork, man. Was teamwork. Now, I'm telling you, I've always suppressed this part of my life, brother. I've always suppressed this part of my life. But looking back at that M1, looking back at how it operates, you have 4 personnel on it. And the thing is, if one of those personnel are missing, the entire unit is out of whack. The entire show is almost, going to hell in a handbasket, man. That's the beauty of it, man. And when you think about that, there's a African proverb, and I don't know it off the top of my mind. I know I'm going to butcher it up, but it says something like, if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go like even farther, then grow with the team. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It ain't nothing like that, but it's along the lines of that, right? It took me 40 plus years of my life to understand the power of a team. I can easily say it took me 43 plus years of my life. I've always been the type of person that I just love working by myself. I thought that I could get further ahead, than working with others. It's just my mindset. I'm introverted. I just like rolling solo. It wasn't until I got in the power circle, man. It wasn't until I got in the power circle and understood how sharpening iron with other brothers, how bouncing ideas with other men was so game changing. Man, I had no idea. I'm telling you, man, having the right people on your team is everything. It's everything. So I'm telling you, when you're talking about surviving this battlefield called life, it's important, man, that you have some soldiers around you, man. That you have some people in your life that are mission oriented. And I'm talking about friends, relationships. I'm talking about both. Y'all see my brother Lane in here. Where L Kid go, man? L Kid is the one that said asked about the target. This right here is my day one. If it's anybody on this planet that I trust with my life, with my well-being, with my child, with everything, it's this brother right here. I don't remember a time in life not knowing this brother. I really don't. I really don't. Man, this brother used to play in the fields. We used to make up games. I'm telling you, man, this brother, we used to play baseball. Just me and him, 2 people. We used to play baseball on the field, and me and him would go a full 9 innings, playing a whole game of baseball, just 2 people. That's how far back me and this brother go, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to have people on your team that that have the best interest at heart. Matter of fact, shout out to my brother Lane. He's graduating this weekend, man. He's getting one of those. Don't tell him what he's got now. He's got another one of these fat degrees, man. His brother is brilliant in his field, a genius in his field, actually. So congrats on that graduation coming up this weekend, brother. But you have to have people. You have to have people on your team, man, that are for your best interest. That are for your best interest. Going back to my brother Lane, man. There's nothing that Lane can tell me that I have to run through several filters. I don't have to pause and say, oh, well, where's this brother coming from? Is he trying to tell me something so he can benefit us? Is he trying to do this? I don't have to run through that filter. And he doesn't have to run the filter if I'm telling him something. I'll reach out to this brother about relationships. I'll reach out to this brother about businesses and money. And I know when he tells me something is for my best interest. You have to have people like that on your team if you're trying to go far, man. You have to have people like that on your team if you're trying to go far. There's a book, man, I read a couple years ago. And this is when I first got in corporate America, man, and I wanted to expand. There's a book called Good to Great. Now I'm not saying to go out and buy this book. This book was actually recommended to me by, again, one of my colleagues. I haven't read it since. But there was a nugget that I got out of here, man. I got a nugget out of this book, brothers. And what this book is, it's pretty much talking about. They're inquiring about businesses that were booming and maybe went through hard times. or went through depressions or whatever and came back out of it. And it's studying like what did they do different than everybody else, right? It's called From Good to Great. And one thing that stood out in this book, man, and when I read it, it changed my life. And it said, before you get to moving, like you have your target, you know where you want to go. You got your armor up, right? And you're protected from outside forces. It said before you move, you have to have the right people on the bus. It said it's not more about it's not as much about where you're going and all this other stuff. The real thing is who is in your team. What is their mindset? What are their beliefs? That's what's going to determine on how far you get ready to go. Not none of this other stuff, man. It says before you move, you have to have the right people on your team. Appreciate that, Michael, for becoming a member, brother. Again, I don't know if y'all can hear my my board. You have to have the right people on your team. And when you think about it, when you're talking about, friendships is crucial. When you're talking about a relationship, though, brother, you're talking about something that's game changing. Like having the right person in a relationship on your team. It's a non-negotiable, man. It's a non-negotiable because think about it. In that situation, you're actually joining forces with a person. Brother St. Clair said, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Man, facts. Facts. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link, man. When you bring somebody in your team, it is imperative, man, that you understand their state of mind. When you bring a woman into your life, it is imperative that you know her state of mind, that you know her beliefs, that you know her repetitive thoughts, that you know what her prayer is. You know what her mindset is. Because now you're combining the two. Now you're becoming one. So you might be 100 and she might be 0. That's going to bring you down to a 50 level mindset, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the right woman on your team, man. Think about that, man. You have to have the right person on your team. Now, the last thing, man, the last number that I want to bring up when it comes to surviving this battlefield called life, it really doesn't, it actually doesn't have anything to do with the M1, right? And the thing is, the military preached this principle all the time. This was like one of the core values. And I understood it. And just like me and other soldiers back when I was a young, 22-year-old, 23-year-old soldier, I understood what they were preaching. I understood, the mindset they wanted us to be in as soldiers. But it didn't make sense until I was a lot older, man. And that thing is selfless service, or the spirit of sacrifice. Brother, that will get you a long way on this planet, man. Selfless service, or the spirit of sacrifice. Now, again, the military taught this. The military pushed this. But when you're a 20-year-old man and you've never had any major relationships, you haven't been married, you don't have any kids, you're still young, and and you're in a different mindset, it's hard to understand really what self-service is, man. But once you've lived life a little bit, once you've, made a few trips to different portions of the world and seen some beautiful things and had some beautiful women in your life and had some wild and crazy experiences, you've gotten a lot out of your system, and now you finally connected to purpose. Brother, the term selfless service takes on a whole new meaning. It takes on a whole new way of life. Because see, at a certain time in a man's life, and the thing is, it might hit him at 25. Everybody's going to be different. It might hit him at 25. It might hit him in his 30s. It might hit him in his 60s. It might hit him in his 90s. At some point, it might hit a man on his deathbed. It might hit him at the last point. But at some point in time, he's going to understand this, right? At some point in time, he's going to understand that it is no longer about him as much as it's about the overall mission of this experience. I'm saying it again. At some point in time, a man is going to realize that it's not about him. It's not about his happiness, his joy, his accomplishment, as much as it's about the overall grand scheme of things. You know, when it's about what his kids will experience, what his grandkids and great, you know what I'm saying? Once a man switches to that mindset, he's a completely different monster. He's moving in a completely different energy, man. He's become a man that's now he's living a life of sacrifice. And what I mean is like your actions, like your daily actions, you know, what you put out to the world, the books you write, the sermons you preach, the videos you post, the memes you post, the conversations you have with the random stranger on the street. Everything is about going to long term, right? It's about the greater scheme of things. See, back when I used to make videos on my old channel, right? And I still have one or two of those videos up. My mindset was different. My mindset was, you know, like, man, like, I don't understand why the world is the way it is. But I need to get mine, you know, like, I want mine and I want it now, whatever the commercial is. Like, I wanted to understand why what benefit. I was angry because, you know, maybe my money wasn't right. I was angry because maybe I didn't understand why women why women acted the way they acted. It was still about me. It was still about, let's get to the bottom of this and please, I need to be pleased. I need to be happy. I need my bag right. But once I started accumulating these things, man, and again, having these experiences, my mindset changed. I said, man, you know what? I said, you know, this world is a beautiful place and has a lot of potential. Like right now, it's jacked up. This world is jacked up, but it has a lot of potential if we can get our minds right. I said, my mission needs to go towards that. My mission needs to go toward, you know, what, you know, if my son is going to be right, my nephews and nieces, whether my great grandpeople are going to be all right. My entire mindset changed. And in that mindset, you find purpose. Once you swap to that mindset, this is why it's so important. If you haven't found purpose at any point in life, you're like, you know what? Why don't I have purpose? Think about what you want to leave this world when you're gone. Think about the words that will be spoken at your funeral. Think about when you're gone for a year or two and the brothers are out having brewskis and they bring your name up. What are they going to say about you? What are they going to say about you? What kind of conversations will be had about you? You will start to find purpose then. Not only that, your life will start to have a whole new type of meaning, man. Like I said, going from my old channel to my new channel. Now the things I talk about is like, you know what? I'm speaking about a world that I may never see. Yeah. And I'm still a young man. I'm just 45 years old. I plan to see 100. I plan to die actually on my 100th birthday. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my game plan. To make my own funeral arrangements, pick my own casket, write my own obituary, you know, invite my own friends. I want to go out like old boy did on Coming to America too. Let's plan my funeral and let me die on that. That's what I plan, right? But the thing is, everything I'm doing going forward now is based on the people behind me. I'm talking about relationships in their highest form. I'm talking about what it looks like for a man and woman to come together and build something, how they should operate. There's a good chance I will never see that world. There's a good chance I will never see that world. I talk about people tapping into mind and finding their purpose and understanding that mind is constant energy and whatever you hold in there. And like in my mind, I think about a day where everybody knows this. Odds are I'll never see it. But I have to move in an energy that's for the greater good of the grand scheme of things, man. And I'm telling you, once you get in that energy, the beautiful thing is like life starts to happen, man. Like the things, I'm saying that what you'll find when you do that, and we're 44 minutes, we ain't going over an hour. What you'll find when you start living a life of selfless service, life will start to make sense. The thing is, you will start to be fulfilled, man. I'm gonna tell you, brothers, I've made a good amount of money in my life. I've had some beautiful, phenomenal women to cross my path. I've walked the walls of the pyramids. I've seen the Table Mountains of Cape Town. I've seen, other places on the globe. And I'm telling you, there's nothing more fulfilling than selfless service. But I'm telling you, when you start giving selfless service, you're damn near start forgetting to eat. It feels so good. It fills you up so much, man. You'll say, dang it, this is what you'll say. Once you start living a life of selfless service, you'll say to yourself, like, this is what I've been looking for the whole time. Like when I went out and bought the brand new car, when I went out and bought the belt and did all these things, and when I went out and tried to get this girl on my shoulder, when I took the vacation to Fiji, like all those were good things, man, good experiences. But what I was really looking for, what I thought was at the end of those material things, was fulfillment. And I'm telling you, you won't feel true fulfillment until you start living your life for everybody else. And when I mean for everybody else, for the greater good of people, man. It's a whole different life experience, man. It's a whole different way of life. Like this is the thing. I didn't even start living my life until I was 41 years old. So real talk, I'm like 5 years old in the grand scheme of things. I just started living life. Cause it's like once you tap into that selfless service, it's like, oh, it's a whole new world. It's like now I'm starting this whole thing over again. I'm telling you, man, it's a beautiful thing. So those are the 4 things, man. When it comes to surviving this battlefield called life, the 4 takeaways are: stay locked on your target. Again, this world is going to do some crazy things, man. You're going to go through some hills, some valleys. You're going to get some bumps, some bruises. You're going to have to backtrack. You're going to have to do some 360 sometime to get out of certain situations. But brother, at no point in time should you lose focus on your target. Just like that M1, when that barrel locks on that target, it doesn't matter what that tank does, that barrel is locked on. You have to be locked on at all times, man. 2, you have to have thick skin. You have to have thick skin because if someone can get through that skin level, now they're tapped into your heart. Now they're tapped into your emotional state. And your emotional state is your creative energy. Once they tap into heart, I'm going to tell you, it's a back door. It's actually a back door. If anybody on this third plane has the ability to pierce your skin, you've given them access to your mind. Think about how dangerous that is, brother. Think about how dangerous that is. Anybody that can penetrate your skin now has a remote control to your mind. They say, oh, I can make him mad. Let me make him upset. Let me put him in an emotional state of anger. Now that I've done that, he has absolutely no choice but to produce nothing but things that vibrate on the frequency of anger. It's that serious, man. It's that serious. I don't care what somebody calls you, what they post, I don't care, man. I don't care what and I'm talking about, I'm not just talking about evil things. I'm talking about you go to work tomorrow and the manager say, yeah, well, we got to lay 1,000 people off tomorrow. You should be poker face. You should be poker face. If you get in that state and you start saying, oh man, like layoffs, oh man, my bill's coming in, man. I'm trying to get wifey a new wedding ring. Oh snap. If you get in that state, they control your prayer. You have to be in the mindset. If you walk in tomorrow and they say, you know what, we're laying off 20,000 people tomorrow. Your emotional state should not change. What you should say internally, say, you know what, like that's unfortunate for this company, but it doesn't pertain to me because my prayer has already written my script. So yeah, I might not be here tomorrow, but my target is still being played. My song is still being sung. You know what I'm saying? You can't let anything take you off your center, man. It's that important. And it goes back to what I said yesterday. A man should ask himself 2 things before he goes to bed and when he wakes up. 1 question, 2 things, or 2 times. Who am I? Who am I, man? The third one, when it comes to surviving this battlefield called life, having the right team, man. I mean, we all know the example of putting one bad apple in a bunch of apples. See, I thought that was just like, a way of saying something to kind of, communicate, a message, right? No, that's a real thing. I don't know if apples are different than any other fruit, but you put an apple in a bad batch. Strawberries are the same way. You got one bad strawberry, you come back tomorrow, man, everybody's sick. The whole bag is trash now. You put one bad apple in the bunch, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap, man. So number 3 is just having the right team. And that's whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships, having the right team, man. And the last one, when it comes to surviving this battlefield called life, the last one was selfless service, or the spirit of sacrifice. Because I'm telling you, man, like I thought I was winning when I bought the 550 Benz, right? I pull up Mercedes. You couldn't tell me nothing, bro. I thought I was winning when I was, when I had the apartment that overlooked the city, when I bought the new truck, when I had the motorcycles, when I had the 4-wheelers, when I took the trip to Africa, I thought I was winning, man. I'm like, oh man, like this is what life is about. Contraire, mon frere. Brother, that is not what life is about. Life is about fulfillment, man. And once I understood that, man, my whole ball game changed, man. Like the things in my garage, the things in my closet, the things that I entertain, the people I entertain, it gave me a whole new way of life. Selfless service, man. And that's just putting the greater good of things, out. You're looking forward to future generations. In other words, you're looking forward to, you're putting energy out. You're creating a world, or you're co-creating a world that you may never see. I'm telling you, but it takes a level of not being selfish to understand that, man. To create a world that you may never see. Half of y'all won't even cook dinner that you won't even get a bite of. You know what I'm saying? You ain't baking no cakes if you can't get no slice. And you think most people finna start living their lives based on the future that they may never experience? I'm telling you, once you start doing that, is when you start living life. That's when life starts. That's when life starts. Oh, golden. Well, Brother Sinclair said, a man isn't rich until he has something that money cannot buy. That's heavy, man. I gotta say that again. He said, a man isn't rich until he has something that money cannot buy. That's a gold mine, man. That's a gold mine. Matter of fact, I think we're going to end on that one, man. I think we have no choice but to close out on that one. Thank y'all for joining Power Hour. I might start doing these every day, man. I'm trying to come in as frequent as I can. But again, it's just maybe to give you a quick conversation to get in and entertain. Maybe give you a little something to up your spirit. It might be in the fourth quarter of your workday. You might be coming back from lunch and just kind of want to chill for a minute, man. Thank y'all for joining, man. Thank y'all for joining. Again, we're going to close on what Brother Sinclair said. Brother Sinclair said, a man isn't rich until he has something money cannot buy. It's your boy Soul Immortal, and I'm out.